Hello, everyone. Sorry for the late. I totally thought I hit the record button. I've been talking for the past 8 minutes. Regardless, hello. All right, start dropping questions in the comments. We will help everybody out, learn all the things. So, a couple of quick announcements. We have been super busy at Cleverlike this whole summer. This is our busy season because we're working with so many teachers and teaching them how to actually get UEFN and Unreal Engine and pretty much everything inside the ecosystem that Epic does into the classroom. So the students can learn bits and pieces that they need to, and then decide what they want to do, and then flourish with it, whether it's visual effects, animations, games, obviously. The Weather Channel uses this. It's just kind of everywhere. And one of the things I quickly just want to talk about this, we have literally been traveling from Florida all the way to California doing this stuff. One of our cats is actually out there teaching teachers right now, which is awesome out at CSTA. In Florida, we actually had a really awesome chance to work with Epic as well as Full Sail and put on a game jam. If you all have been following the social media that we've done, it's absolutely amazing to kind of see what had happened with all that. And we had, I believe it was 11 teams. Yeah, we had 11 teams. And in those 11 teams, we had 11 games come out of them over a 48-hour chunk, which is amazing. Kudos to Epic and its team to building UEFN in a way that we can actually teach all of these skills in a short amount of time and then actually have games come out. Some of them had never opened UEFN before ever. Some of them had never done a game jam before. It was amazing. We actually had a couple teachers drop in on it too, which was super cool. From Florida, I had a chance to go out to Indiana, and Indiana, we ended up working with a bunch of teachers that were doing a professional development. We had about 20 teachers in that class, and in there, of those 20, within the first day, they had a game working, right? These are teachers that don't have time to build and work and play inside of UEFN, and they had to kind of learn it on the fly. So again, kudos to Epic for building a tool that allows teachers within 6 hours have a game that started from beginning to end. Now, it was a very short game, right? It's not like game jam kind of thing, but it's a very short game. But game starts, player has to go complete a quest. Once that quest is completed, then the game actually ends, right? So that kind of thing in like 6 hours in the first day, right? We worked with them for a full week, so we got to play with it a lot more after that. But just to get them in, get that satisfying feeling that they can have it and have that success within that short amount of time, which is huge. After that, we ended up going out to California for the Arts, Media, and Entertainment conference. And that conference, we had 20 teachers, I think, in it. We worked with them over 2 days. And again, and within the first day, from start to finish, they had a full-on game. Hey, good to see you. Waves. Glad you're here. We had teachers from beginning to end start a game, do a quest in the middle, which was a little bit different. We changed it up. We have some really cool feedback from that, actually. I'm really excited. I want to build a whole course on it. And then take that and then actually have an end game at the end of it, right? So as it were, teach a teacher how to fish, right? And feed them too, because they're going to be hungry after learning all that stuff. And they can create a game and get that in the classroom, right? So again, once again, kudos to Epic for building such a cool system that allows all that stuff. Hello, more fancy friends coming in here. I appreciate y'all, right? So after that, I took a week off. And I have a colleague right now that's actually out at CSTA still teaching. And kudos to him for putting all this stuff together. So Brian, if you're watching, go take a nap. You've been going for 6 weeks. I had about 4 or 5 in the middle of there. An amazing team here building stuff. We don't just do the Epic game stuff. We also do a bunch of Minecraft stuff as well. And for those of you that are watching this that are looking for information on the Minecraft stuff, specifically the horse ranch stuff that we've been doing, I can't answer those. I'm not on that team. However, leave your comments in the comment section and we will definitely have that person of the team to actually do all this stuff. Hello, right? So check that out. This kind of segues into something else because we've been working with teachers and students all summer long. And one moment, let me make sure I get everything on screen that is important for this, because what I want to point out is that, oh, come on, now you're going to fight me? It's going to fight me for right now. I guarantee it. Let's go back home and I will get this on screen here. We have an entire school, if you didn't know, that's actually online. It's totally free. You can run it at your own pace. 3, 2, 1, boom. And this is it. So the Cleverlike Creator School. It was backed by an Epic Mega Grant. And what we have inside of here are a whole host of courses that are completely free. So if your students, or your teachers, you want to try and get this into the classroom, this is a great resource, right? This goes much further. Of course, you can contact us, but real quick before I get into the deep dives, right? Full on classes, like you want to make an escape room, you're looking to make a free-for-all map, from start to finish. These classes are about 10 hours long. They're all pre-recorded. You can check all that stuff out. Other things that we have in here as well. I'm going to go into the courses. You can see that we have much more. We have a rocket racing one. Now, I like the rocket racing one. I love racing games, just to put that out there. So if you have a cool racing game, you want me to play it, let me know. Hello. So many people coming in. And I like this one because there aren't any weapons in it. So it makes it much more feasible to put inside of a classroom setting. Okay, so keep that in mind. It's a nice little place to get in there. Obviously, all of our live streams are archived in here. So any of the ones that you wanted to see that you may have missed, please come check them out. A couple of these cats are actually in the audience today. So, hey, glad to see you all here. There's a bunch of them in here. This is where they get all archived. You'll notice that they've got little clips next to them. That means that there is a file in here, specifically the project, that you can download and actually work with from these, right? So check those all out too. We got questions coming in. Cool. I see them. Cool. I will answer them. Thank you. So we got people. Yeah. Awesome. The last thing that I want to point out here. Okay. For those of you that are taking notes and for those of you that joined all my classes all summer long, that's, you know what I'm talking about here. If you come up here to where it says gurus, you'll notice that myself, right, as well as Maestro Shark are in here. And the reason I want to point this out is because we actually had a chance to sit down with Maestro over at Unreal Fest. Super cool cat. Thank you so much for answering all my questions and being just an awesome person in general with everything that you do for the community. And we've asked him to come over and be a guru. So you can take classes directly from myself and from Maestro Shark, depending on what it is that you want to learn. So if you come up in here, take a look at mine real quick. Obviously, everything that I do is going to be inside of here, which is a significant amount of stuff, like almost the entire thing. But if you go under Maestro's, right, you can see what Maestro's done. And the reason I want to bring this up twofold. One, if you want to take verse classes, take them under Maestro, right? And it's all done through the school. And then the other point that I want to bring up is that we moved all of his tutorials that we had links to, because we have a big link of just a ton of videos that are done by the community for tutorials. If you click on this one, this is where you'll find his stuff, right? We wanted to pull this off to the side because, Maestro is a guru. He is good at what he does, and he's really helpful. I've learned a lot from him. So look at all these videos that he has, right? So all of this stuff, this is all of his YouTube stuff. This is everything. We want to make sure that he's being in the spotlight here as a guru because he's good at what he does. And if you would like to take classes from him, come to us. We will gladly set you up with that, right? Whether it's one-on-one or whether it's, a group of people that wants to learn from him. If you're not looking to learn verse just yet and you want to learn some other stuff, by all means, you can come and I will actually help you out with that too. So all this cool stuff that's inside of here. All right. So with that, I don't have a guest today. Well, technically I don't have a guest because July and June have been crazy for us and I hadn't had time to set somebody up. So if you were expecting somebody cool, sorry, you have to deal with me and my voice. Haha, that's why that goes. Okay. So yo, yay, more people. Love it. All right. Let's start looking at some questions. I do actually have an assistant though. Hey, welcome. If y'all haven't played with this Epic Developer Assistant, this thing is wicked cool. It does have a few bugs in it, but it's still in beta, right? Yeah, still in beta. So don't expect it to be perfect. It is learning. We are learning. I found it really helpful. You can see I've been playing with it for quite a while, trying to get it to do what I wanted to do, specifically with scene graph, but it doesn't know scene graph yet. So don't expect it to do a lot with that one. I find it really helpful, especially we use this while we were at the school. The schools we've been traveling around to from Florida all the way to California. And it's been really helpful. We had a lot of CSTA, so computer science teachers use this and we're like, wow, this is really powerful. So it's good. They liked it. Please use it. I absolutely abuse this thing. The poor thing it's like, what are you trying to get me to do? This is crazy. Okay, so let's take a look at some questions in here. Question, can you move a prop or a building diagonally? I'm struggling with this and it's a pain. Why do they constrain this so much? Okay, so I'm assuming what you're trying to do, let's grab a building. Let's go into here. Let's go into prefabs. Actually, we can probably just find it here. Whoops. Oh, not that. I don't want you to start searching there. I want you to start searching here. Prefab. There it is. Eeny, meeny, miny, and anarchy anchors. All right. So this is what I'm assuming you're trying to do. Let's go and drop this in here. Wait for it. All right. I'm going to zoom in on it. Right. So we have down here at the bottom, I'm assuming everybody can hear me. Everybody can see me. Yes. Right. We have our gizmo with our arrows. So I'm assuming what you're trying to do is you're trying to run this thing, diagonally or not up, down, left, right. And yes, we can absolutely do this. First and foremost, I highly suggest using these arrows as much as you possibly can, because it's going to save you a lot of trouble. For example, if I were to grab this right here, where that little white arrow or that little white dot is, if I grab that and I start moving it, you'll notice that it'll go into the ground. That's why I, most of the time, will only grab these little arrows, right? That's the big takeaway from there. However, if you want to move it diagonally, you can actually grab, are you going to let me draw in here? No, hold on. That button, and then this one, there we go. This little section right in here, grab this one and move it around, right? So what does that actually look like? If I grab this, now you can see I can slide it from place to place, right? Even though the gizmo is going to freak out on me. There we go, right? And you'll notice that it's not going down into the ground. So hopefully this will answer your question. The other thing that I want to point out is that you may have noticed that up here, I have another little icon for moving things around. This little thing will give you this kind of gizmo, right? So I'll zoom in on it so you can see it. I love this gizmo so much. This thing is amazing. I learned about this while I was working at Unreal many years ago. And for an environment artist, this thing is bamf. So if I click anywhere on this thing, I can just slide this around, which makes my life a whole lot easier. Okay. Hey, welcome. So this is super helpful. Okay. Where do we get this? So if we come up here under edit and go into our editor preferences, and I'll put all this on screen so you can see what I'm going to do, right? So edit and then editor preferences, right? And then up here, I'm going to do a search for look and feel. Okay. So look, right? And there are a couple of ones that I have turned on here. I'll zoom in on them so you can see what they are. So this first one, whoa, get all the letters on there, is this enable combined translate and rotate widget. That's the widget with the little yellow circle, right? And the other one that I have on here as an environment artist that I love is this enable arc ball and rotate. This one also becomes super helpful. Okay. But this first one, so let me zoom out, is what's actually giving us this gizmo. So now I can move things diagonally in any direction that I want, right? As opposed to moving just the arrows. Beware, you'll notice that there's this little green arrow right here. If I grab this, you'll notice that that arrow now points the direction of my cursor, right? So this is really helpful for like fine tuning. It's not so great if you're right next to the gizmo, but if you're way out here, you can like turn it like 2 degrees, which becomes really helpful. Okay, so use that one, abuse that one. It's awesome. Hey, we're stuck under the ground. Whoop. Right. So really helpful. Hopefully that answers your question as to how to get a thing to move diagonally. The other part that may be part of that question is you may have like snaps turned on up here at the top, right? So our grid snaps, you can turn these on and off or make them grid snap to a specific grid unit. Notice that for those of you that are taking notes, this is going to go 256 units right now from where this is currently located, because I always turn this other, it's not in there anymore. This thing right here. This one is toggled off. So I'm not snapping to the Fortnite grid building grid. Like, when players are building within their world, there's a grid that they build on for floors, walls, and ceilings and stuff. I turn that off most of the time, unless I need my builds and my worlds to correspond to that. Whew, long-winded way to explain what was going on there, but yeah, that's what's going on. Oh, I don't want grid snap on. Turn that off. That's horrible. Silo is not the best case in this example. I mean, if you have a better example, let me know. Wonderful rotate prefab 45 degrees. It always snaps to 9 degrees. How do you get around that limitation? Oh, yeah, that's easy enough. Let's grab a better example. Let's say this big old farm. Like that. Okay, so notice this is toggled off, right? That one right there. And when I go to rotate this, let's go ahead and grab my rotation tool here and I rotate it. You'll notice that mine actually rotates to 45 degrees. And that's because my grid snap is set to 45 degrees. I love 45 degrees. It just saves me so much time, right? If we were to set this to something like 10 degrees, snap, 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 right? You can move the whole thing. And just to point this out, I actually have the root selected when I'm rotating this one. Cool. Hopefully that answers your question. There's a bunch of Minecraft stuff. Where am I? I need my Minecraft peeps. I think they're sitting in Discord in a meeting right now. Oh no, they left. Okay, well they were there a moment ago. Maybe we should do some Minecraft streams too. That maybe I'll pull them in one of these. Have you ever done VATs in UEFN? I tried to pull off a VAT and work in Unreal, but they don't seem to work right. VAT. Oh, virtual. Are you talking about the what are they called? Virtual textures. Let me know if that's the one it is. Okay, yes, and that answers my question. Cool, sweet. Glad I was able to help. VAT. I know. Vertex animation textures. Vertex animated textures. I can get it. With world position offset, I have not had a problem. So for example, for those that are wondering what we're talking about, let's just create a new folder here. Right. So here, and then we'll grab material, WPPO. All right. So if we do world position offset, well, this is okay. All right. Questions are coming in. Sweet. Y'all are, there's only one of me. I'll try and get to all of them. I promise you. Let's go ahead and say world position. Let's do a sign and we'll do time just because, right? And I believe I'm going to need let's do it. Ooh, it's been a minute since I've built this one. Multiply. Hey, Sixon, if you know what I'm doing here and I'm doing it wrong, let me know. I know you're in the comments over there. Normal. Oh, I don't even need that now because we've got, get out of here. Ooh, can I do this? No, because that locks off that. Okay, never mind. I was going to, because I've got X, Y, and Z here and world position offset. Sorry, I'm losing my mind. We got to go this way. Let's go 1. Right, and then we can take this. Yeah, I'm going to do a multiply on this side of it. Boop, boop, boop. Sorry, I'm doing this fast, but I want to make a point here. Okay, and then we also need to make sure real time is turned on. Okay, cool. So what's going on here, right? So we're taking time and we're running it through a sine wave. So a sine wave, if this is 0, right? If we're on a grid, hey, we're on a grid, right? So if we're on a grid like this, right? And this is like 1, and this is -1, and this is 0. A sine wave is going to do this. It's going to go up and down, right? As time moves. Okay. So that's what we see the ball doing. Right. So that's what this is doing right here. I'm actually multiplying that value times 100. So this is actually moving a total, I believe, of 200 units, 100 up and 100 down. Okay. And it's moving up and down because we're using the Z value right here. And this is what we're multiplying into the world position offset. So this is technically not moving vertexes. It is because it's actually moving the object. But I want you to point out that it doesn't move the collision. Okay. So there's no way to move the collision with the materials to my knowledge, unless somebody knows a real tricky way to do this. Right. So there's that. If you do, let us know in there. That'd be totally cool. Hey, I know who you are. I recognize that icon on Twitch. Good to see you, mate. Glad you joined. So this becomes super powerful because we can do some really interesting things with it. For example, let's go ahead and grab modeling. If I want to grab, let's do a capsule. I never use a capsule. Capsules are always fun. I was going to go into meshes. Yeah, that's fine. Right. So if we grab this, is this a dynamic mesh? What did I just make? Boop. Nope, it's a static mesh. Cool. So if we take this material and now we drop it onto here, oh goodness, not the ground. I just want that one. Okay, cool. So now we have this object that looks like it's moving up and down. Again, note that this does not move the collision. And I don't think I have collision on this thing anyways, right? So it's great for things like art, right? You can create like windmills that are spinning in the background, and they're super cheap because it's just running on the GPU, which is nice, right? So yeah, that's kind of that. So yes, we can do that. Okay. Hopefully that answers your question. Usually when I place a prefab and want to delete the prefabs to save memory. Usually when I place prefabs, I want to delete the props to save memory. Any trick to streamline that? Oh gosh, kind of. We can actually do it with this one. So let's leave our selection mode. So let's say, for example, I don't want any of these things in here, right? They're just garbage. Well, if I select one, now note that I've only got one prefab in here, right? And what this is going to do is it's going to select every single one that's like it. But if I hit Control-Shift-A, it'll grab every one of those, right? So that's one way. Now that I've got one, I can hit delete, grab this one, Control-Shift-A. It's going to grab all of those, Control-Shift-A, delete all of those, grab these guys, Control-Shift-A, delete all of those, and so on. So I just need to kind of do this all the way through and get rid of them. The other thing that's worth knowing is that, let's grab one of these ones. Okay, so if you look at this value over here in the type, if you do a search for that one, this can also kind of speed that one up. So, whoops, hey, whoops, Haybayl, Haybayl, right? So now I can search for those and grab all those, and that would be a little bit faster there, right? So there's not any quick way to try and find those props that I'm aware of. If anybody has a trick, let me know. But that's how I would do it, right? So grab those ones. I can delete those guys out of there. It's still pretty quick, though. I mean, it's not bad. So how can I test multiplayer effectively as a solo dev for something like a battle royale or free-for-all? Actually, funny enough, we actually did that in our free-for-all class. And because you're asking, I'll show you how I did it. If we actually use a guard, and maybe you've kind of already figured this one out. If we take a guard spawner and drop them in here, wait for it. There it is. Boom. Right. So the guard spawner, if we set the guard on another team, where are you at? So our team options, I'll zoom in on this one so you can see it, right? So if we set the guard on anything other than what the player's on, they effectively become another player. Note, however, they are still AI. So the other thing that we have to deal with, whoops, not what I wanted, that button, there we go. So if we set this on team index, let's say 3, let's say 10, actually, let's just be smart about this. And then inside of our island settings, and I got a button for that, we can, yeah. And then if we do a search for AI, we can actually do AI eliminations. So say you want the player to, the game to end after so many player eliminations, but we don't have players, we only have AI. So you have to kind of work with the AI settings to get this to work. It's a workaround. It's not great, but it does work well enough. The other thing that you can do, and I haven't played with this yet, so anybody that's played with this, let us know. Actually, so then clear this. Get out of here, right? Inside of our debug settings, if we toggle this one on, so I'm in my island settings, did a search for debug, and then down here, right? Instead of here, if we turn this one on, we get test players, okay? Now, this is the part that I haven't played with yet. We should be able to actually give these test players like AI capabilities. So you have to write, like an AI custom definition, which I have not done yet. But if we go, where are you? NPC character definition. So this one right here, right? So we can actually make them use this so that they have specific guns and specific health, specific behaviors as well. So you can write a whole verse thing that actually runs it. I have not tested that, right? But you can see it lives right here. So does it work? I don't know, but we're supposed to. If anybody knows, again, drop them in the comments. This is part of this big community thing that you all are part of. I appreciate all the help in there, which is super cool. So you have an Unreal animated that has a virtual animated texture, works great on a static mesh, makes a secure walking animation, but Straight migrate doesn't seem to work. Okay, so when we're migrating stuff from Unreal into UEFN, there are some limitations. Specifically, the ones that always come up are material functions. They don't always come over. So if you have material functions that are built natively inside of the Unreal Engine, they may not, as of this recording, actually work. Okay, and we're running, what are we running in here? 5. Here I can zoom in on this so you guys, everyone can see this, right? So we're running 3.6.10. So they don't always come across. The way around this, most of the time, is to go over to Unreal, open up that material function, copy everything in there, and then come back over to UEFN, create a new material function, paste all that information in there, and typically it works. And then you just have to hook everything back up. So material functions are the ones that seem to get everybody the most often. So keep that one in mind. It's a thing. Yep. Nope. It's only GPU. Yep. Thank you for that one. Is there any way to attach a collision to a blueprint? I would put it in, if I was going to build collision for a static mesh, I would put it on the static mesh, and then the static mesh would go inside of the blueprint, right? So for example, if we go grab our capsule here, right? I'm going to hit Control E for those that didn't know. Control E is an echo. We can actually open up the editor for this. Please don't crash. There we go. And we can see, I love it when they move everything. It's got to be this one. Yep, simple collision, right? So under simple collision, we can see that there's nothing. Yay, great demo, Ian. So what I'm going to do is come up here to collision. I'll go ahead and create let's create a capsule, right? So now I have a capsule collision on this one. Go ahead and save that one. And if we go into, I'm going to do a horrible thing. I'm going to go blueprint class. I'm going to put it here inside of my meshes. And I'm just going to grab let's just do a building prop. That's fine. Right. So BP, and we'll call this collision. Ooh, can I actually, hold on a second. Create blueprint using this. There is a shortcut for that. What does this actually give us? Ooh, now I'm curious. What kind of blueprint is this going to give us? So this is what happens when you ask me questions and I don't have time to actually play with it. We're going to go into meshes. Is it thinking? It must be thinking. I have no idea what kind of blueprint it's going to make. So, it's just an actor blueprint. Okay, cool. That's what I figured, but now I tested it. Now I know. Okay. So if we go back to the other one that I made, which was this one. Yeah. No, that's the one that made it automatically. Yeah, because that's that one up there. Okay, looking at the numbers on there. Okay, anyways, so into this one, inside of here, we grab our static mesh. We grab our capsule static mesh, right? So now, because we actually have, get rid of that, we have a collision on this static mesh. It adds it into here, right? The other thing, yeah, we can't actually grab a collision mesh inside of here. So that's not really a thing. Hopefully that answers your question, right? And I'm actually curious if we grab, save all that. I'm going to push changes. I'm going to test this too here in a minute, just to see what we bounce into. So that will give us a collision inside of there. Now, if you're trying to do something specific in there with the collision, let me know. UEFN is a little different from Unreal, and I don't have Unreal open at the moment. So there, yay, questions being asked of each other inside the chat. I appreciate that. That's awesome. Chess players and cards. Yeah, so we got all those ones. We got these usually. Now, did I miss anything important? Everything you missed. You missed everything important. This will be saved. Yes, everything that you're watching in here will be saved inside of the. Where did it go? I just had it open earlier. Is it gone now? So if you go to the courses, this will be on YouTube for a month, and then they get archived. So inside of our UEFN live streams, it'll be archived inside of here. So it'll be down here at the bottom where it says July as soon as I get it in here, which will be in here, about 10 minutes after I actually do this. So yes, this is all archived. This is all be in here, and you'll have access to this project too, by the way. So you can open this up and be like, oh, let me take a look at, whatever it is that we were playing with. So ask the questions, Question, is it possible to change material settings all at once? For example, toggling on enable and Niagara on several materials at the same time. No, it is not. I wish it was. So for those that are wondering what this is mentioning, so if we go into materials, let's just make another material in here and call this one M test, whatever. It doesn't really matter. And we go over here. Let me go over to meshes. So we have a couple of different, I don't have another mesh in here. Let me create another mesh. So there's a limitation to one of the really, really powerful tools that are inside of here. Oh, really? Get rid of the blueprints. Okay, so if I select both of these, let's save everything first, and I right click on it and we do matrix, right? We get this little thing called edit selection and property matrix. And I'll zoom in on it so y'all can see this, right? This thing is amazing because what it does is it opens up this property matrix. And inside of here, if I select a couple things, I can be like, oh, like, what do I want to change? And I can change a bunch of stuff in one go. This one doesn't have a lot. You can do this a lot more with textures. So you're like, oh, look, I could change the collision, whatever. And I'd be changing it on 2 of these. However, because of the way that the engine works and materials are the way that they are, if we right click on these and then we type in matrix, we don't have that option inside of there. So no, you can't do it all in one go with the property matrix. So the way you can get around this, though, is if you have a material and you have a material instance of it. So if I create a material instance, right? Save all that. And if I go into this one, anything I change inside of the master will change in the material instances. Now we can take this a step farther, right? So if we make a material instance out of this, I'm going to call this one child, right? And I make this one, actually, let's do this. If I do this and say child, we'll say 01, and then I'm going to right click on this and we'll duplicate it, child 02, perfect, right? So we have a master, right? The master is feeding into this material instance. This material instance, and I'll do this in green, right there, and then I'll do this one in blue, is actually feeding into these other 2. So if I open up this material instance, any parameters that I have access to inside of here, I can change. For example, if we go into two-sided, if I change it here, right, and then we save this, if I'm not mistaken, when I open up these other 2, either one of these, two-sided is toggled on, right? Yellow, right? There it is. So can you do it with the matrix? No. Can you do it inside of here? Kind of. It depends on what's exposed. So it's the closest workaround that I'm aware of. Why do I have to rebuild my landscape every time I open? To make a landscape modification, this is going to be a problem when I publish. Why would you have to rebuild it every time you open the project? You shouldn't have to redo it every time you open the project. If the project hasn't been opened in about a month or 2 and there's been some updates to the back end where Epic is dealing with the landscape stuff, then yes, you should have to update it. I can't think of any reason why you would have to. To the other part of your question, will this affect your game when you publish? No, it will not affect your game when you publish. You won't have to worry about it. Once it's been published, it saves that state. Every time you open up the project, work on it, and then republish it, I would build that landscape if it's asking you to do so. It shouldn't be that big of a deal. We've got a couple projects where I ignored the landscapes and I don't have a problem with them unless somebody hasn't told me something and they're playing our games and it's broken. But for the most part, you should be fine. You shouldn't have to worry about it. Yeah, why would you have to do it every single time? It sounds to me like the landscape data probably isn't saving properly. And if that's the case, I would build a bug report. If you do, do a bug report and actually, go through the whole how to reproduce the issue, tag us on it and we'll upvote it, because you shouldn't have to do that. That's a waste of time. That's terrible. I don't mind the streamline bar, but why did they flip them left to right? Are you talking about this bar up here at the top? Yeah, I don't know why they flipped them. I appreciate all the UI changes that the UI team is doing. Those ladies are amazing at what they do. I'm sure there's some guys on it too, but I haven't seen any information on the gals and guys that are on there. It definitely messed with me this summer while I was teaching. I'm like, oh, everything's in a different place. That's not helpful at all. It's good times. When I created a material, the ice effect applied by default. Is this a bug? Oh yeah, that would totally be a bug. However, if we create a new material, call this one ice. What you can do is come down here at the bottom. And if you do a site physical, PHYSI, right? Your physical material, this is where you should be setting that ice, right? So if I go into here, ice, right? Now this thing will act like ice. So you may check this and see if this is toggled on or if it's something else. That could be totally a thing. Oh yeah, UE, yeah, UE versus UEFN, yeah. You could add a primitive with collision and turn the visibility off. Yeah, you could totally do that. Yeah, I wasn't going to go down that road, but yes, you are correct. That would totally work. Cool. Can you enable Niagara for a material instance? When I import a .glb file, it creates a material instance without a parenting material. Is enabled to Niagara for those. Ooh, let's do that. Let's find out. Let's do an import. Eeny, meeny, miny. Where's my donut? Oh, I don't think I've got a GLB for my donut, though. Hold on. What do I have in here for GLBs? Button. Let's do the chest. Let's do the open chest. I'll open this one up. Use pipeline. Okay, real quick. Okay, cool. I just wanted to see if there was a Niagara setting here inside the import settings. We'll say import. Okay, so chest and static meshes. Oh, hold on a second. We want to go into the materials. Materials. Okay, so for those that are interested, this is creating a material instance. This is what we're talking about in here, right? This is not the material. This material instance has a couple things that are already built inside of it. So let's go and open it up. So this is actually the parent that it's creating. Okay. Now, if we double click on this, we should get a message down in the corner. Oh, it's not even going to give us that. Well, that's great. Okay. Anyways, this thing is locked down inside of the black box that is UEFN. So we don't have access to it, which is just kind of a thing. Right. Yeah. And we don't have access to the Niagara part of it as well. So unfortunately, what we have to do, let me just double check that I'm not losing my mind. Yeah, we don't have any Niagara stuff inside of this one. That'd be nice if that was exposed, actually. Ooh, that sounds like a request. Make a feature request. I will upvote that. Yeah, because if we had, what if we do auto? Oh, yeah, okay, we still don't have it. All right. So, yeah, this parent is actually where that information is coming from. And I can't get at it. I wish I could. So, essentially what we need to do is to create a new material and basically start it from there. Open, right? So if we open this one, wait for it, and then go back to our textures, and then take our textures and rebuild it here, which I'm totally not going to do, but you can see, oh, that's actually, I don't even think I need that one. Right. And then inside of here, we can do Niagara, boop, boop, boop. Right, so then we have, and I'll zoom in on this one, right? So now we have access to usage come here. And we can say if we want it to be part of sprites, ribbons, or mesh particles. But yeah, when you bring in a GLB, because of the way that it's actually set up, we don't have access to this silly thing. If we did, if I could find that, actually, I'm going to take half a second. Actually, hold on a second. If I copy that, can I? Hold on a second. We're going to get fancy with this one. If we go into Notepad and we paste this in here, engine. Okay, so it's under the engine. So yeah, we don't have access to where, right? I'm pretty sure we don't, because we don't have engine. Can we get into the engine files in here? Nope, we don't. That's such a bummer. Trying to think of a way to shortcut that. So the engine files, yeah, we don't have access to in UEFN. We do in UE. But if we were to, okay, this is total hypothetical. We take our GLB, because I don't know if this would actually work. It would work, but it'd take a minute, right? So we take our GLB that we actually dropped in, take it to Unreal and drop it in there, because we'll have access to that parent material. Once we have that parent material, right, we can make a copy of it and bring it into UEFN or a project, any UEFN project, and then we have access to what's inside of it. Now, here's the thing that goes along with it. When we go to import, let's do closed. Actually, hold on a second. Let's go up another one. And inside of here, if we go import, we'll grab the closed one. Wait for it. Okay, so inside of here, what do we have for material? Static mesh materials. We can actually say that we want to use a specific material that we already have inside of our engine, right? And we're going to say, how do we open this one up? Identify, create custom. I want this one. Why don't I have access to that material? What's the checkbox that opens that one up? If we could get access to this, we could tell it that we want it to use a specific parent material. Inside of that parent material, we could toggle on its ability to be used with Niagara. So for big projects where you're going to be repeating this process, I would absolutely use this, because that'll save you a little bit of time. And you'll have a parent material that you can always just work with, as opposed to trying to figure out something else out. Total hypothetical, though. I have not tested this, but that is the way I would try and actually get that to work. Under parent, under root. I'm going to try each one of these. Do not search. But I want that. That's all the stuff that's in material. Boo. All. What if we just search for material? I want access to this. Yeah, total workaround, but that's how I would do that. All right, I don't need that other one in there. That's fine. Go away. What else do we have in here? Yay, props to Forbidden Land. Huzzah. Cool. All right. Wow, we covered a lot of crazy little things today. I was a little worried that it was going to be kind of dead, but yeah, we covered a bunch of stuff. What else do we have under here? Can you create a course on how to create a tycoon game? Not in the works. That is not the plan. We did do, let's just save everything. It was a very brief one. I've been thinking about turning it into something later, but I don't have it. We do actually have, yeah, that's fine. Oh, come here. We worked with UNCG, so University of North Carolina, Greensboro, and did a game jam on World Hunger. And we created a quick demo that is basically a tycoon game. It's very basic though, like really, really basic. So we do have the pieces already kind of built for that, but I don't have a plan at this point to actually create a full-on course with a tycoon game. I can't give you a reason why other than I don't have time. That's where it's at. However, if we get enough people, that specifically teachers, that want that kind of thing inside of their classroom, then yes, we would actually go that direction. So if you can drum up a giant list of people, and we're talking, like 30 to 50 teachers that really want this, worldwide or just we're in the US, but if you can get, internationally a group of people that really want that, then yeah, I would not have a problem doing that, but we would definitely need to allot time to make that happen. So at the moment, no. In the future, perhaps. Strong maybe is what it is. But yeah, we actually have like a tycoon kind of setup, which is fun. It was a fun thing to build. It's tycoons are a lot of work. There are quite a few tutorials out there on tycoon games. I believe we've got a list of a couple of them in our Fortnite creators depot of all of the things that we've got, all the tutorials we have. Actually, let's just take a quick look at that because we got time. And this is going to take you to the back end. Y'all don't need back end stuff. All right. So if we go here, then courses, and then go this one, creator tutorials. Let's see what we have in here. Okay. So yeah, Euphorix has got one on tycoon stuff. And the reason that I want to point you all to this is, we're a big community, so we can't do everything. It's about a year old. So this is for the pop-ups though. And it will actually take you directly to said one. So this is for the pop-ups. Do we have any other tycoon? It said that there was another one in there. One of two. What else do we have in here? Fortnite, and this is under Map Academy. Oh yeah. Go see what Matt's got and see what's going on in there. So Matt Codes did this one. So custom currencies. So here's some good directions you all can go to. So this list is, as I mentioned before, this is where Maestro Shark's stuff was, and we moved it to his personal little guru page, which is awesome. But if there's a tutorial in here that I've watched, it will be on this list. So check it out. See if you can find something there. And if they're on this list, then they will most likely not require you to go to a Patreon or a Discord or pay for anything. And it should all be totally completely free. So that's what I got to say about that one. So there's that. So hopefully that helps. Welcome back. Okay. Yeah, if it's got apparent material, yeah. Will there be comprehensive scene graph tutorials in the future? Yes. I'm going to, as soon as I've got time. Like I said, summer is our really deep one. And if you're looking for like personal one-on-one classes and stuff, again, let us know. I know there's quite a few people out there playing with scene graph. I am so excited that we have scene graph. I've been waiting for this for like, what are we on, year 3 of UEFN? Because I'm so used to working inside of blueprints and they're super powerful, but scene graph is just amazing. So there's also that. Can you go to a folder that lock the parent and create a duplicate? Oh, for that material. Yeah, that one's locked in there behind it. I think that's what that question was about. It was a couple of minutes ago, but I'm pretty sure that's that one. Can we create our own template projects that appear in the project creation? No, I wish. The closest that we can get. So there, like, I would love to have my own island templates inside of here. The problem with that, okay, it's kind of a lie. The problem with it is that when you create one of these, it locks it to a specific. So if I go to here, right, like you'll notice that it locks it to the verse path, right? And that's kind of the problem. The other problem is that it creates that for a specific team, and it uses that specific code when you go to publish it. So that's kind of the problem. If you create a template, which we do actually have one, right? We have this virtual exhibit that we work with a lot of teachers to help them learn how to use UEFN. And we give this to them. This is on the EDC, by the way, the Epic Developer Community. And then what you do is you grab that, you say, yes, I trust the authors. And then you go through a whole list of yes, 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 I want all these pieces. Yes, yes, yes. And it locks it to that specific team or person, as it were, because it's a teacher, right? They can then publish it totally on their side, but you can't really create like a template and then use it. The best that I've found so far, because this is definitely something that I've thought about, is to have like little, little graveyards. And you can see they go back a ways, and I'll build things in there. And then I have those as template pieces. And then I migrate them over chunk by chunk, which is tedious, but it's better than rebuilding stuff from scratch, especially when they're bigger projects. So the answer is no, but that's the workaround that I've found so far to actually do that. How did I get to the textures? I'm assuming that goes with, so when the GLB is imported, it gives you a texture folder right? So you can double click on this, and this is where the textures come from. So the .glb file will actually create 3 pieces: materials, static meshes, and the actual textures, right? And inside of that is where you can actually get those textures. Hopefully that answers your question. Where are we at? Got a couple minutes left? Oh yeah, we got a couple minutes left. Versus definitely better for animation where collision is important. Yeah, cinematics have their syncing issues. Yes, they do. Animation controller for the win. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. The obstacles won't work well. Yeah, I love y'all have got all these like really cool like little tips too. I love this. This is super cool. Cool, excellent. Well, we're like at time. Like that's amazing. We've got a whole bunch of cool stuff in there. Yes, I really back to the point about scene graph. Scene graph is huge. If you haven't started playing with it, don't feel bad. It's still very new and things are going to be changing. But there will be plenty more to kind of play with in the future. I have a game that I've been playing on, a little project I've been working on, and I put it on hold because we didn't have scene graph capabilities. So I'm looking to build all that. But what I'm really trying to do is, where did you go? This thing, right? So this thing right here, this dev assistant, I'm really excited to actually have scene graph information in it. Because I sent it a question this morning. It's like, what do you know about scene graph? And it was like, the Epic assistant has not been trained with verse code generating scene graph. Scene graph is verse code generation and is integrated into the Epic developer assistant soon. Sorry, I can't assist with this question. It violates Epic's terms of use. So their little assistant can't help us with scene graph yet. What that means is that, we're going to work with the community, and in the future, it'll actually be opened up. I know scene graph is a long way off from becoming something that is strictly very usable. And I think this is total speculation. Okay, so everything I've just said actually was a speculation a second ago. I know it's a long way off. That's a speculation. And the other speculation is that I don't think it's coming for a while. Because Epic hasn't made a battle royale game inside of UEFN yet, like they were planning on doing later this year. They really wanted to roll it out in November, from what we had heard from the press releases. And at Unreal Fest, they pushed it back. So what I think that means, this is speculation. What I think that means is that they're waiting to have scene graph be stable so that they can actually build Fortnite and Battle Royale with scene graph, right? To get that minimum viable product. I think that's part of it. I'm sure there's a couple other pieces too. Again, total speculation, but those pieces fit well inside my mind when I think about the way that scene graph is being developed and when Battle Royale is going to be built inside of UEFN straight up. So really excited for when that happens. And I will absolutely continue to work on it. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. Okay, we're at time, but I got a couple other questions that are inside of here. So, how does working with a team in UEFN usually work? What is the general workflow when checking in changes? We have an entire series on that too, by the way, if you want to check that out. But because you asked, and this is going to be my last question, so I can cut everybody off here. What is that workflow like? It's amazing. If you ever get a chance to work with revision control, do it. Even if you're just working by yourself, use revision control 100%. If you're not using revision control, you're doing it wrong. Just trust me on this one. So what does that look like? So what you'll end up doing is, let's go ahead and grab this one, right? So let's say, we're making a 1-player game, so we don't need an extra, spawn point. I can delete this one out of here. So I'll just do that. Poof, and it goes away. And what happens is down here at the bottom, it says, hey, something's actually changed. And we're going to keep track of that change. Within that change, you can then say, okay, well, I for sure didn't want that. I'm going to check it into the cloud, or you can think of it as a library, like you're checking all that information into the library. And then your team members will get a little notification down here at the bottom that says, hey, by the way, one of your team members has done something and updated it to the cloud, and you should probably get that change. Right. So then they can sync to it. It's what's called syncing. Right. And then you get that change pushed to your machine. Right. And this happens vice versa. Now, here's the caveat with it. Because somebody's always like, well, how often should you be checking in changes? And the answer is when your game works and you've tested that specific mechanic and the game isn't going to crash. Right. Because you don't want to check in changes that are going to cause problems for your teammates down the line. that's what will get you into trouble. And I will call you up personally if you're on my team and be like, dude, bro, y'all need to fix this because I can't work, right? That causes a problem. So should you be using it? Yes. How often should you check it in? When you know the mechanic or whatever it is that you're working on works and it's not going to break the game. Like if you're adding art assets, right? Or you're changing something inside of a material, wait till you know for sure that all of that works. Then you can actually submit it in there. Your teammates will get a message and they'll be like, hey, cool. I'm going to grab that thing that my teammate hopefully knows works, right? And then I can test it on there. Like I said, we've got a whole course on it. I can stand on a high horse for this all day long. Where did that go? I had this one, right? So if you go into courses, I'm pretty sure I've got like revision control in here. Yeah, revision control. We've got a whole set of classes on it because it's a super, super powerful tool and all the time you should be using it. It does mean that there's a copy of it on the Epic Cloud, which also means that you can go to another computer and actually pull it down off that cloud anywhere you can log in and actually work with it. We use it all the time for game jams. We absolutely make sure that students can use it as long as they are over 18, because that's how you work on a team kind of a thing. So it's a thing. Yep. Later, my friend, I'm going to roll too. Thank you, everybody. Hopefully that answers all your questions. And next month, we'll have more questions to answer. Yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. I appreciate all of you and all the cool stuff that you are building and making inside of the engine, and just keep doing it because it's awesome, and keep sending me questions. I'm going to open it up to tutorials. People have been building tutorials left and right, and I always walk through them. But if there's something that you want me to kind of test and see it's working on, and get your tutorials out there for the community, let us know. We definitely want to do that. And last but not least, don't forget that you can take classes from us as well. So there's all that. All right. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day, afternoon, and evening, and I will catch you in the next one.